Good afternoon. We're going to read a story today. It's called The Moonlight Tooth Fairy. This is by Lulu Frost, Fran Braluska, and Lorna Brown. The Moonlight Tooth Fairy. Twinkle was a tooth fairy. Every night she flew from house to house collecting the teeth that children had left under their pillows. Each time she took a tooth, she slipped a shiny coin in its place. Before she flew away, she always whispered, "Sweet dreams." Twinkle loved to make people happy. But Twinkle often felt very lonely. She saw sisters sharing a bedroom. She saw friends sleeping over. She saw moonlit moths playing together. "I wish I had a friend too," she thought. One night, Twinkle came to Abigail's house. She flew in the open window and tiptoed onto Abigail's pillow. Carefully, Twinkle reached for Abigail's tooth and put it in her tooth fairy pouch. She pulled out a shiny coin. But suddenly, Twinkle felt that somebody was watching her. Slowly, she turned around. A fairy face was staring at her in the moonlight. "Silly me," thought Twinkle. "It's only a picture." Then she noticed that there were fairies everywhere. Twinkle was so amazed that she didn't look where she was flying. Ouch! Twinkle bumped into a bookshelf and dropped the coin. It clattered onto the floor and rolled behind the cupboard. The noise woke Abigail. Twinkle knew that the tooth fairy should never be seen. With a flit of her wings, she darted behind the curtain. Abigail sat up in bed and rubbed her sleepy eyes. Twinkle peeped out from behind the curtain. She watched Abigail put her hand under her pillow. The tooth was gone, but there was nothing in its place. "Poor Abigail," thought Twinkle. "If only I had another coin." But her pouch was empty. Abigail's eyes filled with tears. "Maybe the tooth fairy thinks I haven't been good," she said. "Oh no," Twinkle cried out. "That's not true." Abigail spotted Twinkle and gasped in amazement. "Oh dear," thought Twinkle. "Now I've broken the tooth fairy rule." Twinkle knew she had been seen, so she fluttered over to the bed. She gave Abigail her tiny hanky. "I'm sorry, Abigail," she whispered. "I lost your coin." Abigail gazed at the moonlight glistening on the fairy's silvery wings and smiled. "Am I dreaming?" she asked. "No, you're not dreaming," laughed Twinkle. Twinkle explained what had happened. She watched Abigail gazing at her wings and had an idea. Would you like me to give you a wish instead of a coin?" she asked. Abigail's eyes sparkled with excitement. "Oh yes, please. There's something that I've always wished for," she said shyly. "Yes?" asked Twinkle. "I wish to be a fairy, just like you." Twinkle waved magic into the room. Suddenly, Abigail felt herself shrinking. Her pajamas turned into a beautiful dress made of petals, and little rosebuds blossomed in her hair. Something tickled on her shoulders. "Look," she cried, "I'm growing wings." Sure enough, Abigail was soon as tiny as Twinkle, with a matching pair of shimmery wings. Gently, Abigail opened her wings and gave them a flutter. "Will you teach me how to fly?" she asked. "It's easy," said Twinkle. "Hold my hand." And up they rose. Twinkle and Abigail flew to the mirror so Abigail could admire her new wings. Then Twinkle led Abigail out into the moonlit yard. Twinkle and Abigail flew high and low. They danced in and out of trees and fluttered from flower to flower. "Look at me," cried Abigail as she skimmed through the starry pond. They swooped and looped and soared. "I love being a fairy," Abigail said. "It's much more fun with two," laughed Twinkle happily. At last she had a real friend of her own. Soon it was time for Abigail to go back to being a little girl. "Thank you for making my wish come true," she said to Twinkle. "You've made my wish come true, too," replied Twinkle. "Come back soon," said Abigail with a sleepy yawn. Twinkle promised. "Just put your next lost tooth in this fairy pouch, and I'll be back as quick as the moths in the moonlight," she said. And she flew away. She whispered, "Sweet dreams, my fairy friend." The end.